Welcome, everyone, to lesson two. This lesson, we're going to be covering things along the lines of sending transactions, working with the testnet, so working with fake Ether, and figuring out how to navigate Etherscan, which is a way that we can track all of the transactions on the Ethereum network, including Ether itself, all the ERC20 tokens, which are all the tokens that are built on the Ethereum network, and NFTs. We're going to be showing you the difference between a transaction fee for a typical transaction versus a transaction fee for a NFT and why those are different. So to get started, let's pull up our browsers that have MetaMask installed. So for me, I already have Firefox here, and I have my MetaMask extension installed. And we're just going to...
Should we be following along or?
Yeah, you can follow along. I'll just cut out all the
Okay.
dead space in the middle, so it's not a big deal. If you need more time, just let me know, and we'll pause and answer questions. At the end of each section, I'll take questions, and we'll deal with any issues that come up then, and then move on to the next section. Okay, so we're going to pull up Firefox here, and then we're going to click on our MetaMask extension up here in the top right, and we're going to sign in. I already have my password in here. I'm just going to click unlock. This is going to take us to our wallet. And unless you've added Ether to this already, it will look exactly like mine, other than this address up here. From here, we're going to click on this thing up here called Ethereum Mainnet. Okay, it's going to show us Ethereum Mainnet, and it's going to show us a bunch of the test nets. What we're going to want to do right now, we're going to want to click Ropsten Testnet, and this is going to take us over to the test network. After you're done with that, you're going to go to somewhere called Faucet, F-A-U-C-E-T, ROPSTEN.BE. This is what we call a faucet. This is the place where you'll be getting fake Ethereum, so we can play around with it today. Send some transactions. And do some things that if we mess up, we're not actually going to lose any sort of money.
My MetaNet says not connected next to my account. Is that correct?
That's okay. It's not connected. So if you look at mine right now, also says not connected.
Got it.
The only time it will say connected is if it's connected specifically to what we call a Web3 application or a Web3 website. And you will have to click on the website, and then you will have to tell the wallet to connect to the website. So most of the time, it will say not connected when you're browsing.
Okay.
Okay, great. So we're going to go back to our wallet. Okay, click your MetaMask up here. Make sure it says Ropsten Test Network up here. And then we're going to just click the thing under Account 1. This is going to copy the address to your clipboard. And then we're going to click over here and enter your testnet account. Control V to paste, or Command V if you're on a Mac. And that's going to give you your address into here. And then you're just going to click Send Me Test Ether. Okay, so for me, I'm on a VPN, so it hates me. But for you, you should see a success. You should see a success message down here. Let me know when that's done.
All right, I'm good.
Where do I find that that code?
Address. So you're going to go here. You're going to click on your MetaMask extension on your browser.
Yeah.
And then you're going to click this right here that says Account 1. And it's going to have a string of letters and numbers underneath.
Gotcha.
Just click it. And then click in here, Control V, and it will paste.
Yep. Cool. All right. So it sent me something.
Great. And so right here, it's going to show that you have 1 ETH. Okay, this is just my testnet account that I've already sent money to. Okay, good. So now we're actually going to create a second account so we can send transactions to and from our own wallet. So we're just going to click up here in the big circle on the wallet. And you're going to click.
Mine didn't actually, I didn't get any money in mine. Mine still says 0.
Yeah,
okay,
mine still says 0.
Okay, it sometimes takes a hot second, but we can do this creating account, and by the time
gotcha,
this account is created, it probably should come through. So we're going to click up here in the top right, this circle. There's all the nice, pretty colors in it. And we're going to click Create Account. Okay, this is just going to create another account. It's just another wallet, nothing crazy. So I'm going to name this Test Account. And I'm going to click Create. From this point, we're going to go back to our first account, which for me is this testnet account. And it should say 1 ETH here. Do you all have that that ETH in your account yet?
It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a moment just because it has to go through processing all the transactions. So basically what this faucet is doing, it's sending you a transaction on the testnet. So it works just the same way as the mainnet, mainly that a miner has to take the transaction, they have to validate it, and then they have to put it in what we call the blockchain, right? So sometimes that takes a minute or two, and that's okay. That happens.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
So I don't have to refresh or anything?
Nope, you don't have to refresh. It should already be sent.
Okay.
So we'll wait a hot second right here, see if it comes through, maybe a minute or two. If it doesn't come through, I'll show you how to do these steps, and you can do them later for yourself. It's not a big deal. It's pretty easy. We're going to send a transaction to ourselves. So what we want to do is we want to go to that second test account that we created. We're going to copy by clicking here under the name. We're going to go back to the account that we had our Ether, our fake Ether that was sent to us, and we're going to click Send. This is going to ask you, where do I want to send this? And so this is where you're going to enter what we call your public key. That's the address of your second account. So we've gone here. Right? We've copied, and then we've gone back to our account with the Ether in it, and then we're pasting. This now is going to tell you, okay, how much Ether do I want to send, how much I have in my balance, and how much gas I want to give it to send the transaction fee. The gas will be automatically suggested for you. On the testnet, since there's not a whole lot of transactions going right now, it's going to be very, very cheap. 1 Gwei right now. So right now, we're going to try to send 1 full ETH. Insufficient funds. Why does that happen? Because we only have 1 ETH in our account, which means we don't have enough for 1 ETH plus the gas. So what we need to do is not put 1 ETH in here. We need to click max. That's going to send us the max amount from our account to our second account with the gas deducted. So after you've done this, you look here, you're sending a little bit less than 1 ETH, transaction fee, gas. You're going to click next. It's going to ask you to confirm. So we're just going to look at this. How much am I sending? How much is the gas? Okay, this looks good. I'm going to click confirm. From here, it's going to give you a pending transaction. There's a few things that we can do here. Okay, we can look at it. We can just wait. We can speed it up if it's taking a long time. Or we actually can see that this transaction shows up on somewhere called Etherscan. So we can click on the transaction, and we can click View on Etherscan. It's this little arrow up here in the top right. So for right now,
does it not automatically go through because it says speed up?
So basically, you can add gas to every transaction. Gas is something that does a few different things in the network. It pays the miners, the people who collect all of the different the transactions, and puts them into the blockchain. So if you want to jump to the front of the line, you can pay more gas. For example, if gas is currently 100 gwei, you can pay 120, and suddenly you're jumping to the front of the line because the miners say, oh, I'm going to get paid more to take that transaction first. On the other side, if you want to wait a little bit and pay less, you can reduce that amount and have it take maybe a few hours if it's not a pressing transaction. What you don't want to do is you don't want to wait for a long time or like put it super, super low, because sometimes the transaction will get stalled. If you put it at like 1 gwei and the network normal is like 100, it just won't be picked up. That's why MetaMask suggests a price. You can go a little bit lower than that, but you don't want to go super lower than that. So basically, gas is actually a super, super important part of the network, mainly that it does 3 things for us. The first thing, it secures the network. So basically, it allows miners to say, okay, I'm collecting all these different things. I get rewarded for pushing out correct blocks and not creating fake transactions. The second thing it does is it replaces ads. So in a lot of today's world, you have things like Facebook, you have things like Instagram, you have things that you are not paying for, but you are paying for with your data, with being served ads. On the Ethereum network, if you've noticed, on crypto networks in general, you don't see ads. You are paying for this up front to maintain your privacy and to not be advertised to. And the third thing that it does is it pays for electricity. Running all of these computers all across the world, it takes electricity. So for a miner to run the computer, to run the hardware that you need to actually run the network, they have to be rewarded in some form or fashion. So for every block, every group of transactions that the miners are able to collect and put on the blockchain, one of these people all across the world will be rewarded with a set amount of Ethereum. Cool. So we have 3 parts of the Ethereum network. One is the users. The users are us, the people sending transactions, creating NFTs, buying NFTs, sending from here to there to that person over there, using decentralized finance, any of that sort of thing. The second half is what I was just talking about, the miners. These are the people who are securing the network via solving super difficult math problems, cryptographic math problems, to be rewarded for taking these transactions and putting it on the blockchain. The third part of it is the developers, the people who are programming the thing. So we have people who are developing the main code itself, the Ethereum network that is about to be upgraded to Ethereum 2.0. We have people that are developing things like decentralized finance, where you can put your Ethereum in there and earn interest. You have things, developers, they're developing things like NFT marketplaces. So those are kind of the 3 different rails that we're working with right now. We are coming at this from a user perspective, but we do interact with the other 2 rails right now. Okay, so next thing that we can do is, after we've done this activity, once we've sent our Ethereum, like I said, we can click through by clicking on this, clicking the arrow, view on Etherscan, and it will show up here. There's a few different pieces of information that show up on Etherscan. First of all, this is telling you that it's on the testnet. This is not the mainnet. it tells you what the transaction is. Every single transaction on this network has a unique transaction hash. This is basically a string of letters and numbers that says this person sent some sort of asset to this person over here. And so if I look up that specific string of numbers, I can see where all that money went from here to there. The second thing is the status. This says success. That's how I know that my transaction went through. If you are waiting for your transaction to go through, this will say pending. If it fails, it will say fail. This is the block number. So basically, block 1 was the very first block in the Ethereum network. The most recent block is 18 blocks from this number. This is the block that my specific transaction was included in. This is your timestamp, pretty self-explanatory. And this tells me where I sent the Ethereum from and to. I sent it from my first test address to my second test address. How much it was, how much gas, okay, how much the transaction fee was, and how much gas was down here. So now we can dig in even further into Etherscan here. So if I want to check out a specific address, I want to check out what my past has been on Etherscan, I can click on the from here. And that will take us to my wallet address. It shows me a few things. Number 1, it shows me the wallet address up here. Number 2, it shows me how much balance I have. And number 3, it shows me all of the transactions I have down here. So transaction hash, what type of transaction it is right here, what block, how long ago it was, from, to, and the value. You also can look over here, transaction fee, okay? How much it cost to send me from one wallet to the next wallet. So we can use all these different parts of the transaction info to understand where money is moving across the network, where different tokens are moving across the network, and how NFTs are moving across the network. So now that we kind of understand how to look at Etherscan, we're actually going to move on over to the main net. So in the top right over here, it says Ropsten, right? This is the testnet. We're going to click on over to the Ethereum mainnet. This will take us to the main homepage of Etherscan. From here, we're going to click on Resources, and we're going to come down here to Top Statistics. Once you're on this page, we want to click on Network. So over here, this shows us how much gas each of these addresses have used. For our demonstration today, we're going to click on Ethermine right here. This is a mining contract. It's going to show us a few different things. First off, it's going to show us, oh, where did my stuff go? Okay, it's going to show us how much Ether it has in the wallet. It's quite a lot, almost 1,800 Ether. It's going to show us the approximate value. It's going to show us different tokens that we have in here. We'll cover those later in the course. And it's going to show you all of these crazy transactions down here. It gives you the to, the from, how old they are, where they're from. If you hover over this, it shows you the address and where it's going to. So we're going to go to blockchain right here, and we're going to click on top accounts. From top accounts, we're going to click on number 2 right here, which is the ETH2 deposit contract. This specific address is a contract. Okay, this is what we call a smart contract on the blockchain. And so if you scroll down, it has all these different things. Same thing we were talking about, but what I specifically want to push us towards right now is this transaction fee on the far right. Okay, 0.01, 0.02, 0.02, 0.01. This is a lot of gas. And the reason that this is a lot of gas is because gas is not only determined by how fast you want something to move, how many transactions are moving throughout the network at any given moment, but how complicated of a transaction each interaction with the network is. So the more complicated the smart contract, the more expensive the transaction will be. So we're going to take a look at this, 0.01, 0.02, 0.02. And then I'm going to click over to a random address. This is just an address. It is not a contract, just an address. And so if I look here, this is a normal transfer, okay? It's from a normal address to another normal address. It's not in the contract here. And look at the gas fee. Super cheap. We can do the same thing by going back to top statistics, network, and we can check out any of these things that are not a contract, anything that says address up here. So if we just go to blockchain, view transactions, it's going to show you normal transaction fees. 004, 004, 004 versus a contract where we're paying almost 3 times that amount in gas fees. This is part of the reason that NFTs, when you're minting them, cost more than a normal transaction, because you're interacting with the smart contract, with a smart contract that each of these marketplaces have that are quite complicated relative to sending money from here to there.
I mean, essentially, how I was seeing it, it's kind of like the gallery taking a percentage of your, your sales and stuff like that. No?
Right. And so that's very similar, except it doesn't matter how much in this case, your painting is selling for, right? It's a flat fee, right? So you can send, 0.05 ether or send 300 ether. The transaction fee will be the same. In addition, with the NFTs, you can sell an NFT for 100 ether, and the transaction to create it and the transaction to sell it will be the same price as someone who's selling it for free. It doesn't matter. It's based on how complicated the contract is and how fast you want it done. Those are the two defining factors when you're paying for gas. So now we're going to talk about how to save on gas costs. Gas is expensive right now. After we move to ETH 2.0, it will be cheaper, it will be faster, but at the moment, we have to deal with what we have. So we're going to click on a new tab here. We're going to go to somewhere called ethgasstation.info. 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 We're going to click enter. This will immediately show us a few things. This will show us recommended gas costs for different types of transactions. If you want to send a normal transaction and have it confirmed in less than 5 minutes on the network, you're going to want to go around this right now, around 194 GUI. This is right now very, very, very expensive. I would not mint anything right now. If you want to do something very fast, 270. If you want to be a trader and you want it confirmed immediately, also 270. It shows you a few things down here, a leaderboard of how much ETH is being spent on gas costs, how much it would spend in USD, and the average transaction costs. So if we look over for the past 30 days, an average transaction cost 112, 130, 125, 130, which means significantly lower than what it's suggesting right now. I would strongly suggest in this scenario to wait. Something that you also might want to check out is this transaction calculator over here. So click on this. And you can see how much gas you want to use, the gas price, and if you want to, you can submit. It gives you a lot of information on the gas. So if you want to use 151 GUI at the moment, which is kind of cheap, as it says, it's saying that 39% of the last 200 blocks is accepting this gas price. Not great, but it eventually will get confirmed. If I want to use, say, 1 GUI, and I want to submit, let's reset, 1 GUI. Okay. Also, 3,100 or 31%. If you want to do fastest, right, which is 300 GUI, it's going to show up with, oh, hey, everyone has accepted this amount. And then some other transactions as well. You can poke around here on the left with transaction pool vision. Gives you some interesting statistics, but we're not going to dive into those. Gas burners, which are some addresses that are using the most transactions, using the most amount of gas in the current network, and a little bit of FAQ if you want to poke around a little bit. So if you don't know how much gas you should use, this is a great place to go, ethgasstation.info. The next place that we're going to go is we're going to go to ethereumprice.org/gas, ETHEREUM price.org/gas.
Can I ask something?
Absolutely.
So I understand about the gas fees, but is that relative to the different sites, or is that like relative to Ethereum, like the type of coin that you're using, you know? What is that relative to, or it's standard across the entire network?
So the gas cost on Ethereum is for the Ethereum network.
So this is not relative to like Bitcoin or whatever else?
No, it is not. Bitcoin will have its own gas costs at any given time, as will other coins, as long as they are not on the Ethereum network. So anything that's built off Ethereum will have the same gas costs for a standard transaction, and then it will get more expensive the more complicated the transaction is and how fast you want the transaction to go through. Okay, so once we come to ethereumprice.org/gas, it's going to show you a gas chart here. This is your gas chart over time, okay, for the past roughly week or so. So as you can tell over here, April 14th, not so expensive. You're looking at 60s to a little over 100, and it peaks at 190 something. Over here, close to the 20th, which is where we're at, wow, kind of ridiculous. I don't think we're under 100 until we get to the 19th. And even then, not so great. This makes me think that, hey, if I am going to be minting, maybe I should hold off a little bit. You also can check out time of day. So where you're at. For me, if I want to mint, it looks like generally in the morning is going to be best for me. So I'm looking at like 100 GUI, around 7 to 8 here. Same thing over here, 7 to 8 in the morning. Same thing over here, and then it gets super far down. So you can look at general trends around here. If you want to look at a better thing for gas prices by time of day, you can scroll down and you can check out, oh, hey, there's a chart. Anything that's super light is good. So for me, maybe I was wrong. Maybe Thursdays from 12 p.m. until 11 p.m. is the time to mint. And so just doing this alone will actually save you quite a bit on gas costs. So if you look at something and say, wow, it's going to cost me $150 to mint my NFT, maybe the network is congested right now. Maybe gas prices are really far up. Maybe you should go to ethereumprice.org/gas or ethgasstation.info to check out what's happening at the moment, and then make an educated decision whether or not you should mint anything. Now we're going to go back to Etherscan. So you can click back to your Etherscan tab. And up here, we're going to analyze a few different smart contracts. We're going to look at, first of all, charged particles, which is a place that you can be minting NFTs. And they do some really cool things by being able to actually put other NFTs inside the NFTs you mint on their platform, putting things like social tokens or decentralized finance stuff there. So it's going to show up here. And we're going to go over here to click on the contract under Profile Summary, Contract. Click on that. And this will take us to basically where this NFT marketplace is minting their NFTs. We're going to scroll down a little bit and come to the transactions. Now let's look over here on the transaction fee side. How much is it currently costing for us to mint an NFT? 0.005, 0.006, 0.001, 0.003. Okay, really interesting. Now we're going to go back to another part of Etherscanner we're going to look at. So if you go to OpenSea, like we did, type into OpenSea here, it'll show up as all this great stuff. You can click on the first one. It's a contract. It'll show you all these pending transactions. Like we said earlier, you can just click on the transaction hash and it will give you how much people have been paying roughly. Okay, so right now here, people are paying 218 GUI. 0.04 is the maximum transaction fee. We can go back, click on another transaction. 0.04 is the maximum transaction fee. So as compared to charged particles, that we had just opened, we can check out the same thing here, 0.005, 0.006, 0.001. It's a little bit different. So it looks like charged particles is a little bit more expensive than OpenSea. So when you're minting your NFTs, you can choose which marketplace you use based on how expensive it's going to be to mint your NFT. That's one of the pieces of data that you can be using. So now that we've gone through this, we've basically set ourselves up on Testnet. We've sent ourselves a transaction. We've dug super far into the Etherscan, gas prices, why gas is important. This is where we're going to stop for today. Next week, we're going to actually start creating some cool things. We're going to be looking at marketplaces. We're going to be starting to prepare ourselves for minting our first NFT.
What's the point of that? Just to know how to do it?
Yeah, basically to know how to do it. So what we don't want to be doing is we don't want to be trying this out with real ETH.
Right.
Because if you enter this wrong and it goes to a wrong address, or even worse, an address that hasn't been created, you can't get it back. So the idea is that you really, really need to copy and paste every time. Like, do not type this in by hand. It's very important. You always copy and paste and double check where this is going. Okay,
I
cool.
have an unrelated question.
Yep, hit me.
When you're buying like Ethereum, do you pay gas when you buy Ethereum, like from real money?
It depends on where you're buying it from. So if you're buying it from an exchange, no, you will not, because they already have it inside their system. And that's one of the advantages of... Yes, so Coinbase is a centralized system, meaning they have everything already internal, right, like inside their system. So you don't have to pay to transact from their system to their system. It's all held there. You don't actually control your coins, though. That's the only issue. So
what do you use?
I use local Ethereum. So basically, you can transact in any currency around the world with like a lot of different types of payment options. It could be anything from bank transfer to WeChat to Venmo to PayPal to cash to anything. And it's a decentralized protocol. So basically, you don't have to trust anyone. The only time that the website comes through and moderates is if there's a dispute. So it's basically like a what's the word for escrow service, but it's this person selling to this person over here, and there's no fee other than like the 0.25 fee that they take.
So why is that better than Coinbase? I don't really understand why it's better.
Because Coinbase, because Coinbase can actually freeze your funds if they decide that you're doing something wrong. There's nothing you can do about it. They say, no, you're doing something wrong. You can't withdraw. You can't buy. You can't actually get access to your funds. Just like a bank would be able to freeze your assets. On the other side, with this local Ethereum, there's no one that's holding your funds. It's all smart contracts. So you don't have to trust anyone in the middle.
I also see that there's like on the MetaNet, there's a buy right next to the send. Is that the same thing?
You can buy actually through MetaMask. Depending on where you are, it works for some people and it doesn't work for others. I believe MetaMask uses something called Wire, W-Y-R-E. And I've heard mixed reviews of people across the world. Some countries allow it, some countries don't. This is why I like local Ethereum and point people that way, because no one can tell you what to do.